That's original.
No one asked you.
Warning. This show may contain blunders, tangents, and inaccuracies. We try, but words are hard. Spoilers are inevitable. You've been warned. Lastly, the following is the opinion of two middle-aged media junkies. Try not to get butthurt if we say something you don't like. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hey everybody, welcome to SequelCentric. We take a look at follow-ups in media and see how they stack up against their predecessors. I'm Duff, and he's the Chewie to my Han, Nate.
How's it going, Duff?
Nate, happy holidays, dude.
Mean Happy Life Day?
Yes, Happy Life Day. How could I forget?
Whatever that means. So what are we going to talk about today? Should be obvious with Happy Life Day, right?
I'm sorry, but I'm sure one of you can make the tip yip.
Life Day is about family. It's not about the tip yip. Oh, it's all about the tip yip. But yeah, family.
Yes, today we are talking about a very special episode. And I'm super stoked I was super stoked when it came out. Of course, we are talking about Star Wars, the Lego Holiday Special that came out on November 17th, 2020 on Disney+.
You know what? I never thought in my life that I would have seen another Star Wars holiday special since the first one.
I never thought I would want to see another Star Wars holiday special of any kind. The first one was bad enough.
Well, true, and we'll dive into that a little bit. But what's your history with the franchise with Star Wars and Legos?
Well,
Dare I
I've
say?
I've been building and playing and stepping on Legos since I could, build, step, and walk and play. They've always been a huge part of my life, and I've been to Legoland in Pennsylvania as a child. Like I'm a huge fan. I'm an engineer. IT and I build things with my hands.
Yeah.
Like I'm a very visual, hands-on person, and so I've always used Legos, and I just think they're the greatest thing. And I think that the way they are handling the next generation of children and makers and builders with their robotics line and their Lego games and the franchises, and like they take franchises just like we do, and they pull them apart and they just give them their Lego touch. And like, so how could I not respect the masters at Lego? I've been a fan of the Lego games since they came out, I think, on the PSP and the PS3, maybe PS2. Like the Lego Harry Potter games, the Lego Batman movie. I mean, they're all such great pieces of pop culture.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I've been around Star Wars since the beginning, and when I was playing with Legos and stuff, didn't have the little cool people that they do now, but it's still, with all the thousands of pieces, it's still, use Legos, build with your imagination,
Yeah.
And it's hard to believe with Lego running so strong with a couple of theme parks that at one point they were about ready to call bankruptcy.
Yeah, no, I remember that.
And they with Star Wars: The Phantom Menace coming out in '99, whoever's in charge of the marketing, they wanted Star Wars everywhere. So why not dip into Legos, which I think helped them, but they realized that they had to do something to pull themselves out. So then they started, licensing other stuff. Their video game division was cut loose, but those guys formed Traveler's Tales, I believe, which now we know with all the Lego movies, games. Like starting with Star Wars, Lego, and then, like you said, Harry Potter, Batman,
all of them.
the Marvel. I mean, it's an unstoppable force now, but it's hard to believe at one point.
Yeah.
Lego could have been gone.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that would have kept Lego around during that time would have been the robotics division, but that wasn't even a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, Lego is back on top again, and I'm glad to see it. And let's talk Star Wars, of course. 77 was a great year.
Oh,
A
yeah.
New Hope.
And then, of course, with anything, oh, hey, let's do something for TV. I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah, and of course, everyone like they were fresh off a New Hope, if I'm not mistaken, and going into was it right after the episode 4 or 5?
New Hope, May 25th, 1977, and then George was working on, obviously Empire Strikes Back.
Okay.
I think he had very little input on this Star Wars holiday special, which to me, I think was more of a variety show than anything else. I mean,
Yeah,
there's
that's
a
what it felt
story
like to
there,
me.
but
It felt like a really extended and boring version of the Muppet Show that didn't have Jim Henson at the helm, which
Oh,
is
yeah.
the only thing that like the Henson family is the only thing that kept the Muppets going for as long as they've gone.
yeah, I don't want to jump ahead with the pros and cons of the Lego Star Wars holiday special, but the one thing I like about this version of the Star Wars special is it was half the time. I don't know if they were trying to drag out the original one to fill out, with 2 hours with commercials because the movie was 2 hours, but it just, even rewatching it recently, it just, on YouTube.
It dragged on.
And Plex,
so
it
long.
drags. It does. Even without commercials, it drags in parts.
Yeah. And I've often contemplated taking the YouTube rip and actually cutting the commercials out of it because it's better than the VHS rip that I actually own. So but it's such a bad example of Star Wars. It's almost as bad as Jar Jar Binks.
I find Jar Jar Binks less offending than the Star Wars holiday special. It's just, as a kid wanting to watch more Star Wars. And all the other like they had some singing acts in here and the juggling act, and it was just they were throwing in.
You have a very good point there, sir.
It was like a giant soup pot. Put a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it
didn't resonate.
It was a shit show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But some good stuff actually came out of it, believe it or not.
It did. Like, I loved seeing Chewbacca's family for the first time.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And we actually got to see them again with the Lego version, which I thought
I
was
was
adorable.
actually wondering if they were going to, show Chewbacca's family in it, which I like. That was a nice tie, but we'll throw that to the pros.
Yeah.
This was the first appearance that we got to see Boba Fett in an animated form, and the gun that he uses in the animated special
is from The Mandalorian.
Is what? Yeah, Jon Favreau he's a fan of certain parts of the original holiday special. And that's how the gun worked in. When I saw that when season 1 came out last year, I was freaking out because I'm like, oh my God, that's from the holiday special.
Yeah. And I just it blows my mind going back and seeing something that irrelevant in pop culture history. It's something that George Lucas would rather be banished. I mean, he didn't have much to do with it, but it's still his name attached to it.
He doesn't want to talk about it. Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, when she was alive, Harrison Ford, nobody, because it's such a cluster. But like I said, there's some good stuff came. It was the first spinoff. Star Wars has got so many spinoffs now, but it was the first one. It could have killed stuff. It also had the first Star Wars animated cartoon, which during the 80s you had the Star Wars droids and Ewoks. And if you look closely, I was watching it. The way 3PO is drawn is very close to the way the Star Wars droids cartoon was drawn during the late 80s. But yeah, very few good things came out of it. But you could cut like half of that and still it might be painful to watch.
Yes, just not hardly as much. Well, now that we've talked all about the OG holiday special, let's talk about the Star Wars, the topic of today's episode. Let me read the IMDb description. Rey leaves her friends to prepare for Life Day as she sets off on an adventure to gain a deeper knowledge of the Force. At a mysterious temple, she is hurled into a cross-timeline adventure. Will she make it back in time for Life Day? So this was directed by Ken Cunningham and written by David Shane. And who are those people? Your guess is as good as mine because I'm bad
They're
with
heroes
names.
now.
Well, they're definitely heroes in my book. They
They did the unthinkable here, Duff. When I saw the trailer looked good.
'Twas the night before Life Day, in a galaxy far, far away. Coming together heroes were to celebrate the day.
Please be a cape. Please be a cape.
It's a wrap!
Remembering the original one, in this one, the bar was so low. Even if it was bad, it still would have been better than the original.
Yeah, and see, I went in completely cold. I purposely did not bother watching the trailer because, things were busy, and I just figured, all right, well, it's November 17th. Why watch the trailer? I can just... So I turned it on. Again, just like with you, I had no expectations with this, other than it was Lego attached to it and a modern Disney Star Wars adventure. So it was bound to be better than the original, but I didn't expect anything coming off of it. And I was so pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, I forgot when I first heard about this. I'm like, interesting approach, Once again, didn't think there would ever be another one. And I thought, okay, this could work, because I've between playing the Lego video games and watching some of the Lego Star Wars stuff, like the Yoda Chronicles and stuff, which are now on Disney Plus. I figured this could work, right? But I didn't want to keep my hopes up too high, because got burnt because I was 8 when the first one came out, and that was kind of, it's like, oh man. More Star Wars, and then, oh man. So, but after watching it, I think they did it, and I'm willing if they want to do one every year in Lego form, I'm okay with it, because they proved to me that they can do it.
Yeah. They've got the creative writers. It's kind of like Pixar. Pixar had the creative writers to create the content that they put out that was so beyond anything else that Disney themselves could have done at the time. They just, what is this? And it wasn't so much the CG interpretation of it. It was the writing. It was the concepts. It was the whole new realm of possibility that they brought us with the original Toy Story. And so, I think the Lego division can continue doing this for as long as we keep talking about them, and as long as they keep putting out great content like this, I'm going to keep talking about them.
The one thing that works with Lego, and I think a lot of people know, is it's very tongue-in-cheek.
Yoda! Somehow we were on Dagobah when Luke Skywalker received his training. Can you imagine the profound Jedi wisdom they're sharing?
Master Yoda? The blood is really starting to rush to my head.
Concentrate, young Skywalker.
And this Lego Star Wars Holiday Special celebrates all 9 movies, plus they even wedged in a little bit of The Mandalorian in there. I mean, there is so much good stuff, but we'll get to the pros and cons soon.
Well, you wanted it, you got it. Let's talk about the pros and cons, Nate. You started off.
I went in with low expectations, and for me, it delivered. I know not everybody likes some of the Star Wars movies. Some are good, some are bad. So this could have been either way.
No, Mrs. Stay. Mr. called Jar Jar Binks.
Overall, this movie celebrates all of Star Wars. As you watch it, there's nods to the whole Skywalker saga. They even wedged in a little bit of The Mandalorian, and it was. I'm glad they figured out how to wedge in Life Day and how to make it work. For me, that was a big pro. What about you?
The whole time jump subplot of the special really connected all of the separate worlds and franchises and timelines.
So cute.
I love loved it. From the initial time jump where you get to see Yoda's teaching with Luke, it was just monumental to see that in theatrical form. And not just inside of a game, but being able to relive those things in Lego form was just an ultimate classic.
Yeah. I think in one of the episodes of Star Wars Rebels, they dabbled with some sort of bit of time travel. So if you watch that, this makes sense. But still, most people, whether it's Doctor Who, Bill and Ted, Back to the Future, everybody's aware of time travel. And this was a perfect thing, especially how it only happens during Life Day, how that ties in, even though they're on two different planets. It doesn't matter. I was so kind of hooked in, because the Lego movies are just so good in my book.
So let's back up a bit. Let's talk about the voice acting. I thought that Helen Sadler did a really decent job of portraying Rey. What did you think of her and the rest of the cast?
Well, I know that they got some of the Billy D. Williams
and Anthony Daniels,
Kelly Marie Tran as Rose Tico.
Mm-hmm.
They got them in there, but like some of the voices for like Luke and Obi-Wan, they pulled the voice actors from Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So I've seen some of that stuff. So it all worked for me. And the person that they found to voice Rey did a great job. I think being Daisy, I don't want to say
Daisy Ridley's voice over
impersonating. I don't want to say impersonating Daisy Ridley's voice, but she did such a great job doing it. It didn't pull me out at all. I was hooked in.
Yeah, you already said it, but Billy D coming back as Lando was just so classic. We named our new dog Lando after Lando Calrissian. So it's pretty cool seeing the old man come back into his old shoes. And let's talk about what do you think about some of the scenes? I know I'm hungry for tip yip.
Guys, look what I found.
Tip yip recipe?
So, not a tip yip recipe.
It's funny that tip yip kind of looks like a turkey.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's roasted pork, but with a different name. You never know.
It all tastes like chicken.
Exactly. I did like when they had different characters and creatures coming into the Falcon, that they even wedged in the off-world Jawas from the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's just genius. Once again, little nods.
Yeah,
almost 50
it's the
years
whole
of Star
Pixar
Wars
thing. It's the whole brain-minded, it's fantastic.
Well, only in Lego form can you take all of this, right, and fuse it together, and it makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know how long.
Well, it's because they stick together. They've got the little bubble there, and
because they're Legos. Gotcha. But I don't know how long it took them to come up with this story, but like I said earlier, if they want to do another one, I'm sold. They proved to me that they can do it.
It's like The Purge. Give me as many as you can.
Yeah.
Maybe one of these days we'll stop mentioning The Purge. But right now, we just are huge fans. So years after the last release. Great movies.
Ooh. Lego Purge movie.
Oh, God, that would be hilarious.
Lego characters walking around with no arms, or like
no
Darth Maul,
then,
no bottom.
Yeah, and they'd be like slashed in half or run over, and they just would turn into a splash of coins all over.
There you go.
The thing that really caught me off guard as a nerd who loves his time travel movies is, Rey accidentally opens up a time portal and lets Darth Vader get into her timeline. Gee, that could cause a little bit of issue, don't you think there, Nate?
We just saw Luke Skywalker blow up the Death Star. No, wait! Technically, we helped Luke Skywalker blow up the Death Star. Master and apprentice. So cool! Best life day ever!
Yeah, but it's a Lego movie, so at the end, it all works out, right? We're not talking, Back to the Future, Doctor Who, and, if you want to...
It was more Benny Hill.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But it worked, right?
It really did.
One of the things I like also, one of my pros, is the fact, you get to see Rey use her yellow lightsaber because for me, I've seen yellow lightsabers, on homemade Star Wars movies and stuff like that, but to actually see it officially in a Star Wars movie was great, but she just activated it. That was it. So to actually, even though it was in Lego form, just to see her use it.
When are we going to see it in live action? That's what I'm
10 years from now. Who knows? But for now, I'm okay with seeing it, being used in Lego form.
Hey, it's still a Disney property. It means it's legit. I mean,
True.
it said Lucasfilms, didn't it?
True. Yeah, but if you think about it, I would say that, there are a lot of Lego Star Wars movies and shows and stuff. So I think it's in its own little universe. Somehow this kind of wedges nicely because it does take place after episode 9. They acknowledge that.
Yeah.
But it's also in its own little like reality. So like, the multiverse like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or the DC multiverse or something.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Anything negative at all you can think of?
No, not at all. Lego form, great. It had a storyline, was 10 times better than the original one, and it was half the length.
No, that's the thing. It had a storyline. Period.
Well, one could say the original one has a storyline, but it's so loose. It's not really there, right?
Yeah. It's watered down.
I mean, Han has to get Chewbacca home to Life Day. That's about it. Runs into Imperials. And some of the footage that they used for the TV show was deleted scenes from A New Hope. I think I read that somewhere, or either online or on a Star Wars special edition disc or something. But all the other stuff just weighed it down. And that's why it's just, most people regard the original one as such trash and garbage. But like I said earlier, there was a few good nuggets that came out of there. Yeah. But the Lego one is just, for me, it was a grand slam right out of the park. I don't have any cons about it.
The only thing I can potentially perceive as a potential con, which I know is a double negative, folks. Don't get your grammar Nazi emails out. Show at SequelCentric.com. But I digress. The only thing that I can perceive as a somewhat negative is if you're of the mind that this is just a lame attempt to, shove as many, franchise cherries into your throat from Star Wars, just do it in Lego form. I mean, then yes, it could be a lame excuse, but I don't see it as that. I see that there, of course, might be haters out there that see it like that. I'm not one of them.
Like I said earlier, I think whoever decided to green light a new Star Wars holiday special, this was the perfect way to do it. Any other way, I don't think it would have worked, Yeah, and
it was original.
I don't know how hard the director and the story writer, worked together, but they did make something magical. And I think this can be a turning point if you want to do another, holiday special. And I envy any kid that's between the ages of 5 and 10 who are watching it this year, because that's not the experience I had when I was 8. And saying that the original one scarred me, but it just left a bad taste in my mouth, But this one, I mean, I've already watched it twice, and I'll probably watch it again between now and Thanksgiving, because it's just, once again, it's 40 minutes. It's Lego, whether it's the games or the shows or whatever, it's so tongue in cheek, but they also pay tribute to whatever franchise that they're doing.
With Lego Batman, that was such a tongue-in-cheek homage to the franchise. It was beautiful.
Probably the biggest nostalgia trip I had watching this was the fact when Vader was going after her, Rey, and they were fighting at the Hoth base, and she was doing the twirly thing, and then they start dropping through all the different timelines,
Yeah.
Traffic duty. The worst. Hey, I just thought that exact thing. Sometimes it feels like we're the same person. Pod races. Don't see those every day. Jinx! Oh, double jinx!
Clone Wars, Return of the Jedi, and then they all drop out. Luke walks out like in episode 4.
Yeah.
And all this stuff falls out of the sky, and he's just drinking his blue milk out of a carton, which I thought was hilarious. And they had the blue mustache. That got me. That was thumbs up, guys. That was great.
Then they got me with the callback because they went back to that scene later at towards the end. It was such a I almost spit water out of my nose. It was that funny.
Because I know being a Star Wars enthusiast, but not quite as crazy as some of the other ones. There were so many. It's like who would be who, this versus that. This was you had all the good guys and all the bad guys just coming together in a big old battle, right?
Yeah.
So and they somehow they made it work, and I'm so glad that they did. Because, like I said earlier, you got a new generation of kids that have a Star Wars holiday special that is not only is it good, I
think
excellent. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's
excellent. And I think it's because it's in Lego form. It worked so well. So, Duff, what are your final thoughts? And does this sequel for you?
Well, of course it's sequels. It would be pretty ironic if we talked about something this hardcore and then said, nah, mate, it was shit.
What the twist?
Like that would be an assault to anyone listening to it.
Like an M. Night Shyamalan horror movie or something.
Yeah, because anything past The
Village?
Yeah, The Village. I think The Village was his last good movie. I digress. Obviously, it's a wonderful addition to both the Disney and Lego franchises, not to mention Lucasfilm. It will be a great addition for years to come for children and adults to watch on a yearly basis, I feel. Much like Charlie Brown Christmas and Rudolph. That's where my mindset is. So that's just one man's opinion. Nate? You're another man.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I like it a lot. It does sequel for me.
I like it a lot.
I'm glad that they knocked it out of the park. I'm so glad. And I'm with you. I think 10 years from now, I think it will be something to watch along like Rudolph, Frosty, Christmas Vacation, original Christmas Story. Just give it some time, but I think this one will be remembered as a gem.
So we've got to talk about this bit of a dilemma. As of right now, this is a Disney Plus streaming exclusive, so you can't technically buy it. You can, however, subscribe to it. So I think in place of when we say buy, we mean subscribe for this one.
Or go out and find yourself a DVD recorder or hook it up to your TV.
Yeah,
old TV and record it right off.
We don't really have a rip it option. And yeah, we do have a burn option. But that's completely different.
I'm with you. If I could buy it, I would for my collection because I like physical media.
Yeah.
But I will continue to subscribe to Disney Plus so I can watch this.
As will I.
As long as it's an option.
So is it unanimous, brother?
Subscribe it.
If you don't already, go subscribe. Heck, as soon as Hamilton and Mandalorian came out, I subscribed for a year in advance. Like, yeah, why not?
Gunta solos?
You want to shoot first? After you.
Well, now that that's all taken care of, Nate, any tidbits about this piece of media that you'd like to share with the class?
Yeah, I want to just say that I think Lego and Star Wars goes hand in hand very well because when Lego was about to go under, they licensed Star Wars stuff and brought them back from the brink of bankruptcy. And here, Lego redeemed the Star Wars holiday special. So, Lego and Star Wars, they've been going on for 20 years. It's a match made in heaven, in my opinion. Another interesting tidbit, I think Star Wars shines the best when you make fun of it, like Robot Chicken or Family Guy. Those are other specials that
I mean, heck, they even made fun of them in the later remasters of like the whole Stormtrooper head bonk scene. They actually added a soundbite to that scene.
Yeah.
In later versions of the Blu-ray, DVD, whatever. So they even are very tongue-in-cheek.
Oh, yeah. I also thought it was interesting at the very end when they were all standing in a circle. It kind of reminded me at the end of The Grinch Who Stole Christmas where all the Who's in Whoville were singing around. And then at the very end with Yoda talking, breaking the fourth wall talking, he was dressed up in the Burl Ives snowman thing from Rankin Bass, right? Rudolph Holiday Special, which was a nice nod.
Yeah, that is a very nice nod. Yeah, very observant you are, sir.
I caught it on the second take, to be honest. But yeah, there's little Easter eggs. If you know where to look, and you may not pick it up on the first viewing, but maybe you'll find some stuff that we may not see on the third or fourth viewing.
Yeah. So shoot us an email, show@SequelCentric.com.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at SequelCentric.
I'm Duff.
I'm Nathan.
And until next time, ask yourself this question. Does it sequel? Thanks for watching SequelCentric. Smack one of them thumbs if you made it through the episode. Click here to subscribe and ring our bell for notifications, and click here to watch another one. You know you want to. Don't do